about survival.
Yeah.
The conversations are about survival. So, how can we survive? I mean, the DJ was used to playing in the club and getting paid for playing
Hmm.
in the club. The DJ was used to the mixtapes and distributing the mixtapes.
Hmm.
The DJ was used to going to do events.
Yeah.
Clubs are closed. There are no events. And we can't even play on YouTube because Akina Musioka and his artists will shut us down.
It's not me. I don't own YouTube.
Acha niweke bunduki.
Musyoka unafunga watu.
Hapana, tufungi watu.
But that's the other thing though, Musyoka, I guess that challenge styles amesema. So DJs they're not per se content producers, right? They will play a song that somebody else has the copyrights to. So in a situation like that, how do you see them adapting?
Okay. The laws that govern the copyright ownership and the streaming of other people's content, unfortunately, was not set in this country. And the apps that these guys use have legal implications in other territories. So, unfortunately, the people who distribute for us the content, we abide in in the laws of those territories. So, I'm sure they're trying to figure out a way of how DJs can also stream online without having this content being struck off, and at the same time being able to monetize and earn a living out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You and Styles, you guys have been able to adapt, switch up, keep moving, and the likes. My question is, you've witnessed, when it comes to music, you've witnessed the sound change, right?
Yes.
Do you think that first of all, what are your predictions of where music is going? Because you already also have, I don't know if I can call it a new sound, but like, for example, even the song that has just been released today, Mastingo, Chris Kaiga, Kahush, they've been making some, it's an interesting place they're going, right? Trappish kind of. Do you think that our sound is evolving towards that direction? Or what do you foresee in terms of music?
Sound will always evolve. Of course, the club scene was a very big influencing space of the kind of music that people create. But right now, because people are consuming music very differently, they're going to see songs that, try to reflect that kind of change that people are undergoing through. Because honestly, we don't know how long we're going to get back into the club scene, whereby majority of the pop and hit songs are geared towards. Like, there are some songs that have come out right now, they've become so big and we've not gotten a chance to enjoy them in a club setting. So, music will always change. Yeah. Music will always change to reflect the trends and the consumption patterns of the consumers. So, it's inevitable. And, we as creative and content creators have to adapt to that because people are now consuming music very differently.
Yeah.
If there's going to be Zoom parties, you're going to look for how music can entertain people in a Zoom setting.
Without being flagged.
Yeah.
All right. Styles, if I'm to ask you, yes, Mr. Oxa said their music, it is beyond doubt that music will have to evolve.
Yes.
Are you, the last time you're actually on the show, like live right here, we talked about, of course, Play KE was one of the biggest discussions.
Yeah.
Now that we are playing KE, the sound is evolving, but the direction, do you think that it's taking the right direction?
You see, it's the artists have been a bit challenged because whereas artists would purposely make a song for the club and design it for the club, now the club doesn't exist. So we're seeing another trend where artists are now making songs for TikTok. So you make a song and you're jumping on TikTok to make it popular versus pre-COVID where you want the DJs to push your song in the club. Now you want comedians to push your song. You want influencers to push your song. You want dancers to push your songs on TikTok. So we're just left to go, okay, what next?
And what do you do?
What do? You just have, you just have to adapt. And it's something the DJs you can see are doing now. There's a certain level of adaptation, even the kind of sets that are being done. Whereas before, when the live stream started, DJs were just playing. Now DJs are now theming their sets. They're getting deeper into the music because the surface won't work anymore. Yeah.
Just before we go to the next point, just throw a span in the work. Would it be then? I know not all can do it, but Mr. Ox, do you think if DJs doubled as producers, survival would be better? Perhaps, I don't know.
It's just a progression. You see, not all DJs can become producers.
Exactly, yeah.
Me included. So I cannot become a producer. My brother got that.
It's just a matter of it's a transition or a growth tactic for DJs who transition from just being DJs to producing actually their own content. And it's a very common trend in the EDM and house scene. So, but that doesn't. The issue about copyright being struck, I'm sure I honestly don't know what's being worked on from an industry perspective, especially from the guys who run the softwares and apps and the legal modalities of everything. But it's something that can be worked on in a way that it favors both content creators and content distributors.
All right. And if I'm to jump back to Stars, something that is definitely always talked about in this industry is mentorship and all, because Code Red and all the DJs that are at the stable, helping other DJs get together. Why did you do that, first of all? And apart from making money, but then how important is it to have somebody say, "Yo, mimi nimepitia njia, fanya hivi, do this," and the likes?
Two things, Willis. Continuity and to build an industry standard. Now, you can't build an industry standard alone as an individual. You need to set a standard with the people you bring up in the team, and you instill the standard in them, and then eventually it raises the whole industry standard up. That's why you find that, and I always say this, DJing in Kenya, the standard of DJing in Kenya as compared to anywhere else in the world, Kenya is the highest per capita. If you go to a town in Busia, the DJ there will kill it, versus if you go to a town in a village in Nigeria, the DJ there will not kill it. So the importance of mentorship helps create a standard, create continuity, and make sure that all through the way DJing improves. Now, if a standard had not been set, then the quality of DJing would have been very low. So how the standard was set was, I had a standard, then I mentored Akina Cream and Akina Hypnotic and all those guys, Akina K-Trix. Then they maintain the standard, and then the guys who they mentor maintain the same standard. And it keeps going like that. So it trickles down where everybody, the standard is set. So I'll give you an example, Willis. When I started DJing, everybody came at me for emceeing while DJing. Everybody came at me, and at that time I was attacked. Oh no, noisy DJ. DJs are supposed to keep quiet. Don't give him the microphone. We don't want that DJ Nakujapo. We don't want him. And that time I was under so much fire. But guess what? I was emceeing. I mentored Hypnotic, Cream, and those guys. They started emceeing, and then Akina K-Trix, and they started emceeing. So now I'm emceeing. This level of DJs who've come next to me MC, then it continues. Now, Willis, you cannot have a DJ who does not MC.
That's right. All right. And so for you, Siox, because we've seen the Brand Nadras and they've come through Decimators, etc. And how do you? First of all, what do you look at? How do you pick and say, wewe nataka kufanya kazi na wewe?
It's a gamble. It's a gamble, and you hope that the person you've chosen has potential enough for that gamble to pay off. Not all of them will be successful, but you have like a criteria, and you have like a tick box whereby you're like, you fit this, you can do this, So as long as you fit in that criteria, then we take you on and invest in you as an artist, and we give ourselves time to groom you, develop you, make sure that you become something. So it's a process that takes time and it's a big gamble. But so far I've been lucky. The guys I've picked, starting from P Unit, the brand Nadras, Concordis, it kind of works, but it takes time and patience.
Yeah, takes time and patience being the key one. Well, I want to end this conversation with some parting shots, but and we'll start with you, Siok. So what would be, if you use your Solomonic wisdom, what would be next? What do you think is next for musicians and artists and DJs and the whole artist realm as we move forward in the new normal?
In terms of sound, in terms of
music, and also most importantly, getting that moolah.
Okay, definitely the digital space, and we have to the digital space. And one thing I feel very fortunate about being in the music industry is that the music industry was thrust into the digital stream, digital space at a very early stage. Like our experience in the digital world is almost 20 years.
Yeah.
From the time of the MP3, the Napsters, they're going into Apple Music. So we are kind of not operating in a foreign space.
Yeah.
The only thing we can do is that we can go out and perform and give shows physically. But in terms of streaming music, creating content, we've already been exposed in the digital world, so we are kind of ready for it. I haven't really seen a big shift in our consumption patterns and also our distribution models, but that's bound. That's the future. So the future is in the digital space, and anybody looking to get into the industry, they have to be ready for that. The legal frameworks, the marketing frameworks, you have to understand all the policies, all the copyright laws and everything that's governing music in that space.
Yeah.
So definitely consumers are shifting to a huge chunk of their music consumption being on the digital space.
All right.
Yeah.
Speaking about that digital space, Styles, in the digital space, in the beginning, of course, of COVID, the COVID-19 parties for the DJs, the numbers were great. Now they're kind of not the same. Let's call it not the same.
Yeah.
Doing in kidogo.
Yeah.
What do you think then? What would you advise DJs and artists to do in terms of keeping up? And of course, you gotta pay them bills, man.
Original content. I mean, the numbers were good in the beginning because of excitement. But when DJs started doing the same sets over and over again, in the club, guys are high, you can get away with it, huh? And then remember, as a club DJ, you're jumping from one club to another club to another club to another club. So I mean, you can get away with it. In the online space, it's very, very. In the online space, it's very, very different. You just cannot. You can't get away with it. So what happened was people got fatigue from the same sets over and over again, and of course the numbers are dropped. Challenging DJs to now come up and create different themes, different concepts, move your parties to Zoom, do different kind of things. But I'll tell you, I mean, whereas for the artists, it's this sort of the artists who had been here for a while and built a good portfolio. For them, it's working. For the DJs now, we're sitting back thinking, what next? That's the conversation. What next?
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. That is Conrad DJ Styles. You can follow him, Conrad DJ Styles with a Z. And then also at Eric Musioka on the Instagrams. Asanteni sana for all of your wisdom and input. We really do appreciate.
Okay.
All right. Also, hapa hivi CrossFit niliona unashake kichwa. Ulikuwa unataka kusema nini? Manake uko na ile hoja ile. What do you think DJs can do?
I think the live video mixing was a bit monotonous.
Okay.
People got fed up with it. It's not about being not creative,
right?
But it was very monotonous. Everyone was doing it. So, and value is when someone is very rare.
Okay.
So if you see someone doing video mixes each and every day, of course you'll get bored with it. So I think that was the reason why the numbers went down. And the DJs did it at first due to panic. They really panicked. They were like, hey, we don't know what to do now. Let's do live. I want to be relevant. But the DJs also found out that there's nothing much they are gaining with it. So they So many of the DJs pulled out. Now it's the upcoming DJs who are doing the live mixes. The big DJs, there are very few who are doing the mixes. And I think it's because of that.
All right. Styles, do you agree?
No, I completely agree with CrossFit in terms of that. The few who are left are creating very original content. You know, so like he said, tiring, monotonous, you're playing the same genge tune every day. Of course, guys will get tired. guys will get tired, man. So original content is what's ruling now. And that's what guys are looking forward to.
All right, original. All right, well, asante sana one more time. Hapo hivyo ilikuwa ile just last tidbit. Tumeshukuru tena sana. Right about now, tunataka kuvuka tena. Unajua hapa hivi tuna we mix it up hata sisi just DJ Awilo. DJ Willis hapo. So kutoka hapa the conversation and the discussion, let's go over and catch up with Kemboy, who had a few things to say as well. Kemboy! Kararan kabisa. Kararan. Imigo mie? Let's do it. All right. Bas mambo ni kama hayo vile mrakapu kupata mkijisamba nyumbani mkichezea. Hata mimi nimekaa tu hapa na wafanyia mambo sasa hivi. Hapa na wana link up with the one and only Kemboy. Karibu sana. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Willow? Niaje Willis, man.
Niko sawa man, labda wewe.